Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 5th of September. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the major themes to look out for. Please stay with me. I will then go through each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in forensic detail. This week on Monday, Venus, the planet of relating, arrives in the sign of Virgo, where the Sun is located. Now, of course, Virgo is very much about discrimination and organisation, and Venus technically is not at its best in this sign, known as being in 4. Perhaps the reason for this is maybe the precision of the sign of Virgo can make Venus a little bit more inclined to look out for perfection. And of course, perfection rarely exists in the relationship realm. But what we can do over the time that Venus is in Virgo is try to find practical ways to collaborate and cooperate around relationships of all kinds in a better way. And certainly in terms of the domestic realm, if you do live with someone, whether it's a flatmate with your folks or a romantic partner, a little bit more give and take and sacrifice and thoughtfulness can do wonders for everybody's morale. Now this week also sees Mars and Mercury and Jupiter continuing their sparkling alliance, which was triggered last week. Mars, of course, in the very bubbly and effervescent sign of Gemini, and Mercury is the ruler of that sign and currently located in the other air sign of Libra, very much to do with relating and listening. And Jupiter in the mix as well brings an exuberance, a positivity, and a go-getting attitude in the sign of Aries, despite the fact that it is in a retrograde. So there is the potential to initiate things this week. But as we get towards the end of the week, Mercury goes into a retrograde, which will last through to October the 2nd. But on the 23rd, it does rewind back into the sign of Virgo. So we've got a very intense period developing for Virgoan energy. But also on Saturday, we have the full moon in the sign of Pisces. This is where the Sun and the moon are directly opposite one another, because the Sun's very much about how we initiate, our drive, our more masculine approach to situations, and the moon's very much more to do with empathy and receptiveness and nurture and security. The two are not quite aligning in a collaborative way. So one of the things we can all do over the next couple of weeks is not get so caught up on the small picture, Virgo, and getting the details right, that we forget to bring in that more spiritual, psychological and more emotional domains that come from the sign of Pisces. But Uranus is actually playing a really supportive role with both positions this time, suggesting to us that fresh ways of thinking about things, new energy can come in. It is the case that Uranus is being challenged more by Saturn again, and they're only 1 degree apart, and between the 2nd and the 12th of October, that tightens up to nearly, very nearly, an exact right angle at 90 degrees. So, also important to understand the restriction in Saturn in the sign of Aquarius is the collective. So we're all feeling a sense of limitation, and a lot of it, of course, is to do with those raw resources which are costing so much more money to buy. And Uranus in the 2nd house, Taurus, very much bringing shocking developments, more challenging environmental situation for us all to deal with, a collective restriction around finance. So that's something we're all dealing with the headwind of those energies. But that collective in Virgo is just saying that we can achieve a lot if we focus on the details, but we shouldn't focus so much on the details that we forget the big picture or our more emotional needs. Now, please stay with me for each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts, but if you would like to elevate your knowledge of astrology beyond the zodiac signs, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you a forecast that can guide you all through year 2023, but I'll give you the rest of this year free. Plus, with my 30% off special offer, you'll get your life roadmap, your character analysis, which can guide you for the rest of your existence by helping you to understand some of the patterns that may have been repeating in your situation, perhaps the more challenging ones, but also helping to highlight the opportunities and talents that you have in a much clearer way. Please see the link beneath this video. And finally, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. So Pisces, your week commencing the 5th of September forecast sees that very tense right angle between Saturn and Uranus really closing in again. If over the last year and a half or so you have experienced some moments of low energy or stress, or just feeling that things were really against you, it wouldn't be a surprise. But there's a great piece of news at the start of this week. Venus moves into your opposite sign. Venus in the 7th house can be a very healing and harmonizing vibe. Venus rules 2 zodiac signs. Its rulership of Taurus, the 2nd solar house, is very much about money and also the more sensual side of life. Its rulership of Libra, the 7th house, is very much about relating skillfully. So your ability to link into situations is really going to be enhanced with that transit. For single Pisces people, this could bring some moments of real magic into your world over the next few weeks. Of course, there is a full moon this week in your sign. And if you are seeking someone meaningful to enter your orbit, this can be a very meaningful development, having Venus on the 7th house of your situation. But if things have been really struggling, perhaps part of it has been because you have been feeling so tired. And also Mars in your 4th house may have been making you a little bit more defensive. But it is actually forging a brilliant link this week with Mercury and also Jupiter. Ideally, if you're talking about anything of a financial nature linked to a property. But Mercury does put the brakes on as the week comes to a close. And of course, for all of us at the moment, there are some very significant increased costs, which are a big worry. But I think your ability to liaise with people, to listen to what they have to say, but relate to them in a diplomatic manner, can really bring a real spark of equilibrium to your situation. And despite the full moon, which is confronting you to look at any relationship that isn't working quite so well, just be conscious of how that wear out feeling that may have been so prevalent recently is informing your reaction to someone close to you.